Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C., all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Super excited to be here with another amazing guest for you. First, let's say a few shout outs to our sponsors. Thank you to the amazing Dr. Carolyn Bob Green, who is the founder and CEO of Training You to Succeed. She is our lead sponsor, as well as Julie and Noah with Breathe Capital Planning, and Top Fox, who is the official sponsor of our upcoming anthology, Taking Off the Shades, launching in Chicago, Illinois, May 17th, where we are kicking off the Empower to Inspire tour. It is ready to rock and roll. We are super excited, as well as to our ladies of leadership. Again, super excited to be here with an amazing guest. I was able to meet her through the Warrior Women series. I am a part of the first Warrior Women book with Desiree Cruz, and she is now on book 3, ready to launch on a cruise. They launched their official summit last week, meeting all of the new authors. It has been a pleasure to be on this journey with Desiree Cruz and combining the Warrior Women and the Ladies of Leadership mission. And this is what we get to do. We get to meet amazing, wonderful women. And this guest we have today is Erin. She is a wife. She is a boy mama, and she is a licensed clinical social worker, therapist, and life coach. Erin is the proud owner of the Alchemy Experience and Sacred Community for women raising the bar in their life, career, and legacy, a space for networking and collaboration. Erin has made it her life's mission to lead others through an experience of self-discovery through a perfect blend of psychology and energetics. She believes the mind is capable of extraordinary things, and together we can alchemize a life beyond our wildest dreams. When Erin is not working, you can find her reading, working out, or going on adventures with friends and family. And without further ado, we're going to get this amazing soul on here. Hello, Erin. How are you?
Hi, Nikki. So happy to be here. So excited.
Thank you so much for being here this morning. And where are you tuning in from?
So I am in Rochester, New York. And for those of you that just hear New York and think of the big city, I'm about 6 hours north of the city. So we have a lot of snow, a lot of trees, a lot of woods, things of that nature. So I am in upstate New York.
Oh, well, so happy to have you on here today. We met through Desiree Cruz. We were on one of the calls where Desiree does an amazing things where she has women read their chapters and kind of just share their stories and the legacies that we're leaving behind. So you are part of that series 3. Can you just tell us really quickly, how has that experience been? And then we're going to tap into kind of your journey.
Oh my gosh, it has been, it's really interesting. I kind of stumbled upon Desiree. So a few years ago, I happen to have a podcast too. It is not as broad and big in the things you are doing, Nikki, which is so inspiring, but I love it. It's a platform to just bring people on, share their story, real and raw. And I happen to have met Jesse through a mutual friend a few years back and had him on my podcast, and just his story and what he's doing. And just, he's just, him, he's an amazing human. And so, one day he reached out, he's like, you really need to be in contact with my wife. And I'm like, okay, like, cool. Because I think he saw similarities in us and what we want to leave behind. And so Desiree and I got on a call once and we just kind of became friends, we were cheering for each other, just like in each other's spaces. And so when she reached out one day, she's like, can you hop on a call real quick? And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And so she asked me, she's like, I want you to be a part of this. I keep thinking of you. And I was like, huh? What? And then I realized, which, it's in my chapter of the book, that things that I have gone through in the journey that I have been through, really was a legacy piece. And I said, no, Erin, you have to do this. This is something you really need a part of. And it has been the experience of a lifetime, to be honest. It has just been, it's changed me. It's changed how I look at things. It's changed my relationship with my husband because he's coming on the cruise with us. I can't wait to meet you and hug you, Nick. But he's coming with us. He wants to see all the things. My kids have a front row seat to the things that I'm doing with these amazing women. And it's just been an amazing journey to be in a group of women that are leading themselves and leading each other. And it's collaboration and connection. There's no competition. It's just, what can I do to serve me and my women? And I think it's been awesome. So highly recommend, reach out to Desiree, get involved, in Nikki's space, do all the things.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You just gave me chills when you said that your children get to get a front row seats. And I'm totally a boy mom. I just have one. And I strategically have taken him since the first time I entered a speaking competition, which that's when I met Jesse Cruz, when my whole world just changed. And that was May 14th of 2022. And my son had front row seats, literally recording my first speech, not knowing where any of this was going to take me. And best decision I ever made. I didn't get to meet, this was in 2022. I didn't get to meet Desiree until January of the following year, but I like in person. And then February of 2023, she had decided to birth Warrior Women. And I was one of the, I believe we had about 20 authors in that book or so. And it was the first anthology I was a part of. It opened up to so many different opportunities. And we've just been traveling the world together, just sharing our story and being able to be a resource, an impact, a friend that you can, hold hands and say, hey, we're going to get through this together, which is so beautiful because I didn't have this 20 years ago. It was, the biggest objection that I get with any community of women is, I really don't, there's a lot of cattiness. I really don't trust women. I've been backstabbed so much. And what we have been able to do is showcase that, yes, you can, if you have the right mindset. If you kind of remove all those things that we have been conditioned to think about other women and be able to lift each other, there's so much more power in it. I'm so glad that you've seen the vision and that you're a part of it. And now I get to gain another sister amongst many for a lifetime. And that's really what myself and Desiree build with the Warrior Women Balm Global Conference, which we're having in August. And super excited. More details on that. We're going to share a quick video, but I want to know about Erin. Let our listeners know, like, what has the journey been? What does your background look like? And kind of the challenges and the mindset that you may have had that went and what led you to your career, to your goals that you have today.
Oh man, I could take hours and hours on this. So I'll be as brief as I can. But even from a young age, I mean, I just remember being so little and just having this like desire, like it's funny. I remember being real little and being like, I'm going to be a lawyer. Like that was like my, my thing, because, you see these big positions and you put them on a pedestal, right? But like, you don't realize that you can have so much impact in different ways. And the desire to just help people, and that helps myself grow, to help people grow and see the potential in them before they even see it in themselves. And so, originally upon graduating high school and going into college, I love this story because I think it showcases how the twists and turns of life occur on purpose, if we listen to the nudges. And so, I went into undergrad with the to be go into psychology was my original degree. And as I got into that, one of the prerequisites to graduating with a psych degree is social work 101, which, is a whole interesting concept in itself. And in that course, I had to go into the community and interview multiple social workers. I had to seek out, where are social workers? What do they do? Who are they? And I had to go into the community and interview. And I just fell in love with the process of, there are so many opportunities and so many ways to help people, all the way from micro to macro. And so I applied to the social work program. I got in and ended up going on for my master's and realizing, there's such a world. I've done so many things. I've worked in child protection. I've worked in the emergency department, in the ICU, in outpatient, in inpatient psych, outpatient psych. I've done so many different things, and it's been such a beautiful experience, taxing at times, but to see the world in different ways and to see humanity sometimes at its darkest. It's allowed me to have insight to what things can look like when it's really dark, and also who shows up to help support that. And so from that, I spent thousands of hours getting my clinical hours in and sitting for separate exams to, my LMSW first, then on for my clinical license that allowed me, so I thought, to go into my own private practice, which I've been proud owner for a few years now, and it's booming, and I have new referrals every day, which has allowed me to actually support and grow other therapists in the area, and provide referrals to them because I'm full and I can't take on anymore. And so that has been really great. And as I have done that, I've had colleagues come to me and say, "What are you doing? How are you doing this?" And it sort of shifted my business from a solopreneur, just as a mental health counselor, a mental health therapist, to growing a coaching business and supporting other people's growth in their solo business, which is just a beautiful thing to be a part of, to know that I've had just a little nugget of support other people to rise. And then that's kind of grown into really helping women, because through all of this, there have been moments where I was burned out. My marriage was struggling, my just relationships, my friendships, just things were really struggling through this sort of trajectory of life. And I was just so burned out and broke and feeling broken. And I realized that I wasn't any of those things. I was creating those things. And I had to have a massive mindset shift. And when I hired a coach, I hired a therapist, I did all those things to help recreate who I was, who I believed I was, and realized there's a very clear method from going from burnout to what I call badass. So this 3-step method that really allowed me to rise in my career, rise in my personal life. And that's sort of how the Alchemy Experience was born. It was not just me getting into the psychology, the psychological blueprint that I always studied, but more the energy of who I am and who I want to be, and allowing myself to burn down a version of me that wasn't serving me anymore. And wasn't easy. It's super painful, but like a snake shedding its skin, right? Like we reemerge into this vibrant new human. And so yeah, that's where the burnout to badass method came from. The Alchemy Experience was born, and here we are today.
All right. Oh my goodness. So much to unpack there, because so many times we set this goal, right? We set this vision of wanting to be certain things. Like I wanted to be a teacher. And I didn't become a teacher. I didn't go to school for teaching, but I'm truly teaching, as a coach, as a corporate trainer, all these things that I get to give back through my experience. The fact that you've went into this with one expectation and then finding a love for something else, that's kind of what entrepreneurship does for you. It kind of is what taking chances in other fields and experiences to kind of decipher that. Like you don't have to know the answers immediately, but you have to know what path you have to go to get to wherever it's going to lead you to at least an answer. So I love that journey that you went on and the little pieces that you shared in every aspect of it. So kind of tell me, what was the timelines in between making those decisions and making those shifts? And did you ever feel like, okay, I am just not ready for this? This is, you're trying it out. You're saying, okay, yes, this I love, this I don't. How did you kind of pick and pull to mold what you've created today?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. I think, you know, I've always been a leader, which I think sometimes, saying that out loud, it's like, ooh, do I want to be, is that confidence? Is that cockiness? But I think even looking, I was talking, my son's going through a challenging time with bullying right now. And it's been triggering me because it's bringing me back to a time when I was really bullied. And I shared with him the other day that there was a core group of friends that I had that really kind of abandoned me because this one girl, and I was like sixth grade, right, was sort of a bully, and they were afraid of her, and I didn't want to be a part of her because I was afraid. I didn't like who she was and how she was treating other people, and they gravitated towards her because they were afraid, and I just stand on my own, and it was so hard, and I was bullied, and it was brutal. I mean, I was threatened. It was awful, and I look back and things evolved and people came around and things changed. And I'm like, even then I was leading myself, right? I was leading myself. So even at a young age, I think that's the piece. There's an intuition, right? That if this doesn't feel right, if there's something that I can't stand behind, even if I'm going to be alone, I'm going to stand behind that. And because I can always make a new decision. Right. And I think that's where I help people in the mindset shifts and the clients that I work with, is that you never make a wrong decision in your life. You make a decision in the moment that you feel is in the best interest for the information you have. And when you gain new information, you can pivot and make a new decision. And so, I think trusting myself and being so confident in the belief that I am always going to figure it out. Even when I make a wrong decision or I screw up, I'm going to figure it out. And I think, for me, leaping before I might be ready is always been who I am. And so leaning on that premise and knowing that, hey, I don't know this coaching world. It's like the wild, wild west. I'm so used to being a social worker and checking all these boxes, and, everything's like very micromanaged in that way, to just leaping into faith that I know who I am, and I know that the right people are going to gravitate towards me that need me and need my service. And I'm going to figure it out along the way. So, I know that's a long-winded answer, but to answer it just bluntly is that I know I have the skills, and the skills I don't have yet, I'm capable of learning and finding the right people to teach me.
Definitely not long-winded. Definitely every single word and everything you said was meant for our viewers to hear and listen, because some of us are struggling with that. Even at the highest level of success, we kind of come back and we don't spend the time and reflection on what actually got us there the first place, so that when we're stuck on another project, we're like, oh my goodness, you have to go back to the basics and all that good stuff. So I think everything you said was like spot on. I love the fact that you talked about choices. You talked about you have the opportunity to pivot, right? If you do make a wrong decision, it's a lesson learned, and not to do that again later, but you're always teaching yourself along the way, which is a beautiful power to have. And I love that you are shining a light on that, because sometimes, in this world, we tend to forget that our voice and what we're giving out there. And I love that you said, that you just always knew you were a leader. And no, that's absolutely not cockiness. I think we need to own that more, especially if you know what you want, right? If you have a clear, you might not know how you're going to get there, but the fact that you have options, you have choices, you have opportunities, were everything that needed to be said right here on this call. So I want to thank you for that, for sure. All right. So now you talked about, how you shape this. Can you give me, what was the the inspiration to call your business the Alchemy Experience? Like, where did that come from? I am always one for like big names like that. I'm like, oh, where did that come from? What inspired that? So please share.
You know, it's so funny because I kept coming back to it and coming back to it. And the more I sat with it, the word showed up in everywhere I was looking. It was a wild experience. So a few years ago, I really I went through a massive transformation of just like shutting an old version, kind of coming into a new version of me with the whole shift of leaving my full-time job. I was supervising a clinic, a mental health clinic, for outpatient care management. And I loved that work. It's honorable work. The people I work with were amazing, right? If I could clone myself, I would go do it. But I knew there was something more for me, right? And so I had to allow myself to leave that life completely to step into this version and to take over a business and to take my therapy business and start growing the other side of supporting people who wanted to do what I was doing. And so um it was just a complete transformation, right? Like it was hard. And so I started looking at, do I want to grow a business? I didn't really know that I wanted to at the time. It kind of emerged. And I knew there was so much psychologically that I had to move through, right? So many ingrained just patterns of behavior, patterns of thought that were just ingrained in my bones that I had to rework and unpack. And through that, all of a sudden in hiring a coach, she taught me about energetics more than I knew. And that really helped me move from just mindset to a feeling of who I am and energy and leaning into the energy that I'm responsible for. And when I learned how to mold those, magic started to unfold in my life. My relationship changed. People like Desiree, like you, like Jesse, people started to come into my world that I'm like, where have you been my whole life? Right? Like, it's just wild. Because when I allowed that channel to open, people came to it. Right. And so, through that, I was like, wow, it's really merging of two things. And I said to myself, what is that? What does that even mean? Like, and I don't know if it was me or a friend of mine that said, well, you're like alchemizing something, you're creating magic. And I'm like, shit, man, that's real. So like, I was like, yeah, that's it. Like it's alchemizing who we are. And that's what we're always doing. We're always evolving and we're always alchemizing from the new ingredients of our life, right? We're learning and we're growing. And then when I realized this isn't just a one-off, right? It isn't just a class you take and all of a sudden it's an experience. It's a continued evolution. And so that's where the Alchemy Experience was born. Before I called it that, I created a course that is called The Alchemist. And it was psychology, energetics. Was the first day was psychology, the second day was energetics, and the third day was how to mold those into becoming your best version of you. And it's a powerful course. So many people have taken it, and I revisit it, here and there, because it is the 3-step process of how I continue to evolve in my life. And so within that emerged the Alchemy Experience. And that's really a lifelong experience. But for me and for my clients, I have different programs where they can come into and experience working with me, and master classes and retreats and networking events. That's all part of evolving.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. I love when people have that story behind their brand, right? Because it's not just a business name, it's a
Right.
brand and it has to be part of your journey. And I love acronyms and I love all these other things that can put just the mind going on really what you're creating. So thank you so much for sharing that. We're going to take a quick break. We are going to look at our highlight reel for the Warrior Women Bomb Global that we had last June of 2023. And we have another one coming August 9th, and I'm super excited. So take a look, and we'll be right back with Erin. Welcome back. We are here with Erin. She's part of the Warrior Women 3 book series led by the masterful Desiree Cruz, which is also a business partner and a sister and friend for life. And was that the first time you watched our highlight reel?
I have seen it actually, but every time I see it, I see something different, and so it's just fun. And 90% of those women I'm in connection with now, which is like so awesome to see them up on stage, and I'm like, yes, I know her. Yes, I know her. And the women I don't, I'm hopeful to get to know. So it's such a beautiful tribute to both you and Desiree and the women in your
Thank
lives.
you. Thank you. Yeah, just capturing it. And that day it was so funny because I was like on each corner, like you never seen me in my seat. And I was just kind of absorbing, right? It was our first one. It was my second. And I know Desiree had been hosting events for some time, through Merge Worldwide. And it was just so beautiful. Again, just to see women just empowering each other, it's just beautiful when you see those smiles and they tell you, I don't want it to end. Like, can we have like a summer camp or something? Because it was right during the summer. So thank you so much. And if you have not locked in your spot or you want to know more, connect with myself and Desiree, you can check us out at www.buildingaleadershipmindset.com. So we are back with Erin, and she is just sharing her journey of social work to entrepreneurship and how her mindset shifts. And I want to know how you, what are you currently working on now? Tell us the name of your business or programs, and like, what is your mission with supporting these women?
Yeah. Well, so the mission of the Alchemy Experience as a whole is empowering women, moms, entrepreneurs to transform from burnout to brilliance, or what I like to say, to badass. It's through self-discovery, reigniting your passion, stepping into your purpose, and really, truly, we guide you through a journey to reclaim your energy, unlock your potential, and create a life and career that you truly love. And so, throughout my life, as a social worker, I just, it's a constant, it's a high burnout, right? But I think we also were told that from college. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that way, right? We really, truly can find a space within our world, within our career that we love and ignites us to then, I found myself being a depleted mom and a not present wife, and just what I called out in myself is that it doesn't have to be that way. I get to, I'm choosing this, right? And how can I step out of that and choose something different? And so right now I have a lot of things in the works behind the scenes. But how you can come into my world is, I have multiple things, but just connect with me is what I love. Just start a conversation. Let's get to know each other. Where are you at in life? Where am I at in life? How can we support each other is really what I prefer. And then from there, it's I have different tiers of things that I offer, but my main focus that originated through Alchemy Experience was to help other social workers step into their entrepreneurial spirit. And so if you're looking to build your own private practice or your own life coach business, that is something that I have a specific program on. The Private Practice Accelerator program is what I offer for those women in particular. I also have some programs that help you uncover your subconscious blueprint and step into your power and own your energy and your mindset. What's coming down the pike here, which I haven't announced yet, but we will be doing a second retreat, a second alchemy retreat. So I'm super excited about that. And with that, if you so choose, there will be a master class that I'm really excited about, to bring in a handful of women in different cohorts that then can all meet at the retreat. So excited for that. More to come on what that looks like and what that entails. That'll be coming out next week. But I also have, if you are in the greater Rochester area, Desiree and I are teaming up to put on women's networking events here locally to really support collaboration. And so we have one coming up in April, and that is really exciting legacy leaders is going to be really the title and the energy and the spirit of that, because we want women to come together, share their knowledge, support each other, grow together, and really just find their legacy together. So if you are in the greater Rochester area, feel free to reach out and I can get you the information on how to get your ticket.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just love seeing that. And when we come in this space, obviously we're coming for various reasons. Either we really want to create impact, or we really want to create income, or we really want to create both. And you can do both. Tell us some of the transformations as a life coach that you've been able to witness, and why it makes you keep going and building these amazing opportunities.
I love this. So, one in particular, I'm going to speak to. I'm going to shout out my girl Lauren. I have worked with her, and she's a fellow social worker, which is near and dear to my heart. And she came to me really like, I know I want more, and I'm not really sure. And during that time, we uncovered that she really wanted to speak. And she had written a book, but hadn't really done much with it. And I said, girl, this is your best asset. Like, we need to hone in. She's like, well, I want to write a workbook that goes along with this. And I'm like, yeah. So during our few months together, she wrote the workbook, had it published, she has had 3 different speaking engagements that I'm aware of. She just had one this past weekend. And she started her own podcast and started her YouTube channel. And I'm like, you don't have to wait for somebody to invite you on their stage. Create your space. And so she's like, I want people to know to take up space. I go, whoa, time out. What? And then she said, I want people to know to take up space. I go, Lauren, take up space. Because her whole thing is about being bullied and being shrinking yourself, because she had done that for so long in so many different ways, in toxic relationships and things. And so she's like, oh my God. So she created a whole brand of take up space, just her evolution in the last 6 months. I was just talking to her the other day, and I'm like, I am so proud to just have been in the back seat, sort of being like, go girl, go girl, go girl, let's take a right. Yes, let's go. And it's just been such an honor and a pleasure to see her. So that was part of the Alchemy Experience, and really helping her just get through those roadblocks, how to just manage the mindset and some of that imposter syndrome. And sky's not even the limit for her. I can't wait to see what she does. So there's been other women and actually men. I have some men that I have helped create, them create their own private practice. And so it's been just such a cool experience, because when they win, I'm winning,
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love those stories, because we hear that, oh yeah, we do this, but what results are we getting? And it's really not the results for us, it's the results for them. Yes. Right. And which ultimately gives us results, right? As the coach, the mentor, the whatever name you want to give us, right? But that's what I love so much about it. Like, the other day, I think it was Tuesday, it was my best friend's birthday. She's our executive manager. But we got, within that like 4 or 5 day weekend, we had 4 girls register their LLCs. So I'm like, I feel like it's my birthday today, because it's just so good to see them like just take action and really believe and have that faith, that knowing that they're worth everything that they desire. So thank you so much for sharing that. Definitely get connected with Erin. What's the best way for them to connect with you, Erin?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of live in Instagram and Facebook. So you can find me on there. I both have my personal pages, which, I do keep, I do keep public because I think it's important for people to see sort of just who I am. I don't share everything, right? But who I am just as a human, as a mom, as a wife. I mean, I sit on so many boards. I coach my kids things. I'm very involved in the community and with my kids. And so I do like to show up in that space. And but I also have the Alchemy Experience, both in Facebook and Instagram. So you can hit me up on those and just, say hi, check in with me in the chats and just, say hi, tell me where you're at and what you're doing in life and how I can root for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And she's such a great person to have a conversation with. It's definitely a fun time, a blast. Every time I just see her energy, and I think this is about the fourth time we've kind of been on the same platform, and it's just awesome. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll be on a cruise together. So I'm super excited about that as well.
I'm real, Nikki. I keep it real and raw.
And that's what this call is about. I call this the hot call, the honest, open, and transparent. And that's what I love most about you. And that's what really gravitated me to say, hey, along with all the other women, when I see women jump on faith, take the leap, have the courage, as scared as they may be, because, fear and all that is just what we make up in our heads. It's kind of just that excuse to say, okay, you know what, I'm not ready, but you are ready. You're ready. You were ready yesterday. So, and I love that. And that's what you exude. So thank you so much for coming onto our podcast. We're going to have our 200th episode week celebration coming up soon, probably when we get back from the cruise in April. So we'll be inviting you back. Thank you so much for just being a pleasure to chat with. Thank you for the nuggets you dropped and for the work that you're doing. And what are some last words you just want to leave our audience with?
Yeah, what came to mind is do it messy. We'll pick up the pieces. I didn't go into it too deep, but my burnout to badass method is vision. You got to have a vision. Even if it's not crystal clear, got to have some vision, set your intentions and take massive action based behind that. And if it looks messy, it's okay. We figure it out. We pick up the pieces and we keep it moving. So do it messy, and I'll be right in the trenches with you. So
that is amazing. Yes. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset. We are coming back with some more fresh guests, more fresh nuggets, more just impact. And you guys have a great day. And as I always say, make it count. Until next time.
Bye.
I am here at Mummers Museum in Philadelphia celebrating Bomb Global's 2nd anniversary celebration. The women who showed up today are leading in their respective industries, and they're ready to not only get inspired, but empower and inspire you.
So from all of the speakers, I have gotten something out of it, not to be stuck and to move forward.
And this just encouraged me to start up again, to take that 15 minutes a day and to make sure that I restart that podcast, that I start writing those chapters for that book, that I get out there and I do what is inside of me, because there's somebody else waiting for me.
I have been a member of Leaders of Leadership for about a year now, and it's been my pleasure to be attending here in the 2-year anniversary with Ball Global, having this amazing group of women and community all together, empowering, inspiring, uplifting. It's been such an amazing experience being here with all this powerhouse. It's just so beautiful, and I'm so blessed that I was part of this group. Together, we empower each other. Thank you.